I'm Jezreel from the Customer Success Team at Consultare Inc. Group. Last week, we covered the recognition program as outlined in SQF 2.1.1.2 under Management Commitment. Today, we will be focusing on the Disciplinary Action Program, specifically SQF Code Clause 2.1.2-4, still under Management Commitment requirements. This requirement ensures that the site establishes, implements, and maintains a clear and fair disciplinary policy to address nonconformances or breaches of company policies that may impact food safety. It promotes accountability and reinforces management commitment to maintaining a culture of food safety and compliance across all levels of the organization. By understanding and implementing this requirement, the site can ensure consistent handling of violations, prevent recurrence of food safety issues, and demonstrate to auditors and employees alike that food safety standards are taken seriously and supported by effective corrective actions. By the way, this free training is sponsored by Consultare Inc. Group, a compliance company. Founded in 2007, we began by assisting businesses with U.S. import and export compliance and have since evolved into a global provider of food safety, quality, and certification support. Today, our services revolve around compliance management software, specialized training, and end-to-end support services that help organizations achieve and maintain compliance with international standards. Through our platform, interlinkiq.com, we offer an integrated compliance management system that streamlines documentation, monitoring, and audit readiness. We also provide dedicated compliance and certification support programs for FSVP, PCQI, SQF, BRCGS, FSSC 22000, ISO 9001, GMP, and HACCP, helping businesses strengthen the regulatory compliance, enhance operational efficiency, and ensure alignment with global food safety and quality management standards. Now let's review our training schedule for the free SQF certification familiarization training. For this week, we will cover the Disciplinary Action Program as part of the management responsibility requirements. In today's session, we will begin by familiarizing ourselves with the SQF 2.1.1.2-4 Disciplinary Action Program. We'll start with a clear description of the requirements, followed by a walkthrough of the compliance action activities or the scheduled tasks carried out on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and semi-annual basis to ensure ongoing certification readiness. We will also discuss the importance of the annual review and internal audit activities to verify the effectiveness of the program and maintain continuous improvement. During the training, you'll have the opportunity to ask questions and clarify any requirements related to implementation. Simply type your questions in the chat box and we will address them during next week's session. As part of this training, you can request access to a free 90-day trial of our SQF certification management software. This tool helps streamline compliance tasks, assign accountability, and keep audit-ready records. It's also a great way to prepare for SQF certification, as many participants use it to get familiar with the SQF code and practice spotting compliance gaps before an official audit. Finally, upon completion of this training, each participant will receive a familiarization training certificate. To ensure that you receive your certificate, please make sure that you have filled up the free certification familiarization training sign-up form that we shared in the chat box. On the screen, you'll see a sample of the familiarization certificate that you will receive upon completing each session. With that, let's move forward to our training session, where we will be working directly with the SQF Compliance Management System software. Let's start by going over the description of the SQF 2.1.1.2-4 Disciplinary Action Program. Please take a look at the description on the screen. It says, to implement SQF 2.1.1.2-4, employees are informed of and held accountable for their food safety and regulatory responsibilities. The program ensures that staff understand consequences for noncompliance and reinforces a culture of accountability within the organization. So you may update or edit the description as needed to reflect revisions when new SQF editions, such as Edition 10, will be released in the future. Now, to implement this program, we have created a list of action items in the Compliance tab that will help FSQA or the SQF practitioner to stay organized by scheduling tasks according to frequency. So here are some examples of your compliance action items or the tasks that you need to perform. For your daily activities, this include reinforcing food safety responsibilities during shift huddles, observe employee compliance on the floor, address and document nonconformances, verify visibility of posted responsibilities, and acknowledge new employees of their responsibilities if applicable. Now, for your weekly action items, this include review employee accountability incidents, conduct mini refresher talks or toolbox session, check acknowledgement records, audit employee performance on critical control points, and verify accountability communication channels. For your quarterly activities, this include conduct formal refresher training, evaluate accountability trends, update responsibility communication materials, review employee performance evaluation criteria, and conduct internal audit focused on accountability compliance. For your biannual activities, this include conduct comprehensive food safety accountability training, review and update accountability program, include accountability in management review, align responsibility communication with regulatory or SQF updates, and reassess effectiveness of disciplinary and recognition program. So basically, this serves as your checklist of compliance activities that you need to perform to comply with the disciplinary action program. So you may either add your own compliance action items, or we can preload with the required activities for you to perform. Now, to complete these activities, we provided corresponding work instruction for each action items. And this comes with the required artifacts or records on how to document completion. For example, to complete the action item, which states that observe employee compliance on the floor, let's click on the work instruction here. So for you to perform or for you to complete that action item mentioned earlier, first you need to schedule routine floor observation. So this is done by planning and scheduling routine floor walks to monitor employee compliance with food safety policies and procedures such as GMP, PPE use, or hygiene. So you need to have the observation schedule, compliance monitoring calendar, or your routine or road plan. Next step is to conduct on the floor visual checks. So this is done by observing employees performing their tasks in production, packaging, warehouse, and other operational areas to verify adherence to requirements. For you to accomplish this, you need to fill up the observation checklist, daily monitoring log, and GMP compliance form. Next is to verify PPE and hygiene compliance. You need to visually check if employees are wearing proper PPE, are they following hand washing procedures or maintaining personal hygiene as required by the site procedures. So for your evidence of compliance, you need to complete the PPE compliance checklist, hygiene observation sheet, or take a photo documentation. Next is to monitor CCP and prerequisite program activities. So this is done by observing employees responsible for CCP monitoring and prerequisite program execution, like sanitation, allergen control, and equipment checks. For your artifacts and records, this includes CCP verification log, prerequisite monitoring records, and observation notes. Then you need to check adherence to zoning and traffic flow controls. So this can be done by ensuring that employees are respecting their designated hygiene zones, segregation lines, and traffic flows rules to prevent contamination and cross-contamination. So to help you accomplishing this, you need your zoning map reference, compliance log, as well as the deviation report. Next is to identify and record nonconformances or unsafe practices. You need to document any observable deviations, unsafe behaviors, or food safety risks observed during the floor walk or follow-up action. The artifacts and records involved in this step are your nonconformance log, deviation form, or corrective action request. Next is to provide immediate on-the-spot coaching if required. So this can be done by addressing minor deviations directly with employees to reinforce proper practices and prevent recurrence. So your evidence of compliance might include your coaching log, verbal feedback record, or your training refresher note. Then you need to escalate significant non-compliances. This can be done by reporting any major food safety violations or repeat non-conformances to supervisors or management for formal corrective action. You need to fill up the incident report, CAPA form, or escalation log. Next is to review and follow up on previous observations. So you need to check with whether previously identified nonconformances have been corrected and sustained. And finally, you need to file and retain observation records. So this can be done by storing all observation records and reports according to document control and retention procedures to support verification and audit. So this is just an example of a compliance documentation that serves as evidence of compliance to complete a specific action item. So your goal is to provide an evidence of compliance and switch from no to yes. Now let's take a look at an example of an evidence of compliance to complete this action item, observe employee compliance on the floor. We've uploaded here the Disciplinary Action Program, Employee Compliance Observation Record. So this document, as you can see, demonstrates that the site actively enforces its disciplinary action program. So you have here the observation conducted, the observer, the name of the observed employees, summary of the observation, the non-compliance notes, the corrective and disciplinary action taken, as well as the follow-up or verification, and the status of the verification or the non-compliance. So right, it shows regular on-floor observations are conducted by either the QA and production supervisors to monitor employee compliance with the GMP, the good manufacturing practices, and food safety procedures. Instances of both compliance and non-compliance were properly documented and appropriate actions were taken, such as verbal or written warnings and refresher training to address deviations. Follow-up checks were also scheduled to verify that corrective measures were properly implemented. And then the QA manager review and sign off the document um, to show that the management maintains oversight of disciplinary actions, ensuring that accountability, consistency, and strong food safety culture are upheld throughout the facility. So then again, it's just an example of how to complete a specific action item. So your goal is to update every no into yes and increase your chances of audit readiness and prepare your facility processes and documentation for audit. So once again, it's you can choose your own action item and the specific documentation that you wish to provide to complete a specific action item. Now let's go over the annual review tab, which also serve as your gap assessment tool and audit checklist. So for the disciplinary action program, You may find the questions such as, is there a documented disciplinary action program or policy in place? Does disciplinary action program clearly define unacceptable behaviors related to food safety and quality? Are disciplinary procedures aligned with company policies and legal requirements? Does the program define levels of disciplinary action such as verbal, written, suspension, or termination? Are responsibilities for implementing disciplinary actions clearly assigned? Are employees informed about the disciplinary program during onboarding? Is the program communicated in a language understood by all employees? Are employees aware of the consequences of violating food safety rules? Are disciplinary actions applied consistently and fairly? Are records of disciplinary actions securely and confidentially maintained? Does the program support food safety behavior reinforcement? Are food safety violations clearly linked to corresponding disciplinary actions? Are supervisors trained on how to enforce disciplinary measures? Are trends or repeated violations analyzed for system or training gaps? Is the disciplinary action program reviewed annually for effectiveness? Is the program updated when policies or regulations change? Are disciplinary actions related to food safety discussed during management reviews? Are corrective actions implemented to address repeated or systemic issues? Are disciplinary records retained according to document control procedures? And does the program contribute to improving the food safety culture? So let's take one annual review item as an example and see how compliance is demonstrated. So for example, the question, does the disciplinary action program clearly define unacceptable behaviors related to food safety and quality? So let's check the compliance record if this assessment was completed. So uploaded here is an example of disciplinary action program with its purpose, scope, the policy statement, the definition. As you can see on chapter 5, the unacceptable behaviors related to food safety and quality was stated. So the record shows that the facility has a formally established disciplinary action program. It clearly defines unacceptable behaviors related to food safety and quality, and it also outlines the corresponding disciplinary actions for each violation in Chapter 6. So it demonstrates that management has identified specific behaviors such as failure to follow GMPs, falsification of records, product tampering, and breach of hygiene or allergen control requirements are considered unacceptable due to their potential impact on food safety and product integrity. So the program also provides a structured disciplinary framework detailing progressive actions from verbal warning, written warning, suspension, and termination based on the severity and frequency of the violation. So this ensures fair and consistent enforcement across all departments. Overall, this record confirms that the organization's disciplinary system promotes accountability, reinforces proper food safety conduct, and maintains a strong food safety culture through clear behavioral expectations and defined consequences. So this is just an example of how to complete a specific assessment item by providing evidence of compliance. Your goal is to complete all the annual review items to keep your site fully prepared for both internal and external SQF audits.